We've seen quite a rapid recovery of some parts of the economy over the last 2 months or so. Now, I don't think that's particularly surprising. I think as various parts of the restrictions get lifted, we all start to do things and activity does return. But it's very unevenly distributed, as we know, because it obviously relates right back to the impact of COVID, those sectors that have got more reliance on people and people who work in close proximity or close proximity to customers and consumers much more affected. But the data is showing that there has been a recovery in the economy of that sense. However, here's where I would really push back on the optimism point. We are taking very little from that in terms of what we think will happen next. We think the rate of recovery is going to slow down, that it's going to be a much more protracted process from here onwards. We've got a very big distribution of potential outcomes in our forecast, with the largest ever degree of uncertainty in any forecast the MPC has done. That's over nearly 25 years. And I think probably one of the, if not the largest downside skews in terms of the risks. Now, so the evolution of COVID is one thing. I think the second thing then, closely related obviously, is people's natural caution in response to their perceptions and understanding of the evolution of COVID, and how people are cautious about re-engaging in economic activity. And we certainly think we're seeing that and we'll see it. And then I think the third thing, and this again is hard to assess, but we think it's undoubtedly there, is to what extent there will be structural change in the economy, because there will be parts of the economy which are not viable, if you like, going forward. So all of those we think are in there. So I would really lean back on people who think the Bank of England is optimistic. I think we've seen recovery to date, but we're not taking any strong message from that going forwards.
The NIESR has talked about a 10% unemployment rate because they are worried about the cliff edge around the furlough scheme.
Yeah.
You are a bit more optimistic on the employment trends than they are. But do you also worry about a cliff edge in October on the furlough programme? The sense for a lot of people on that scheme is that actually their job may disappear once the government support is gone.
Well, what we have in the central case in our forecast, we have unemployment rising to around 7.5% at the end of this year. Now, we then have it gradually coming down over the sort of the rest of the forecast period. So we have quite a pronounced pickup. I don't particularly relate that to the furloughing scheme. And by the way, of course, the Chancellor's introduced incentives for people to take people back off furloughing. And by the way, I should say that the evidence we're seeing is that there is quite a strong reflow from furloughing into employment going on at the moment. I think the question marks then, are more they're not to do with furloughing. They're to do with sort of structural viability of parts of the economy, and that's where I think there will be some change. There will be areas of the economy that are already struggling, unfortunately. And I would say, whether you think 7.5% is optimistic or not, nobody should take any comfort from having 7.5% unemployment. We are going to do everything we can as the Bank of England to lean against that, because the people of this country deserve it.